So we're going to reintroduce ourselves since the audience listens to the video that go. So Lee, quickly, who are you?
I am Lee, and I'm a non-binary Filipinx who works as a contributor and artist for an online gaming journal site called girls.game.org, operates out of the Philippines. Give it a visit and support whatever way you can. I also operate as a freelance artist and occasionally have long features angry about Southeast Asian representation in media and speaking games.
My name is Koebel. I'm a queer anarchist and a full-time Twitch streamer, which means that I'm like marginally famous on the internet for money. Listen, man, I gotta make a buck. Molotov cocktails ain't free.
That's legit. At the end of the day, it's the end of the con. We're just looping, so you get what you get, y'all. And I'm Tanya DePass. I actually, besides talking about diversity on the internet, I actually stream a lot. 3 times a week on a personal channel, and also on the Twitch stream for I Do First Games, which is not as frequent, but we do have a channel there. So that's what we do. That's who we are. Take a photo, reflections, reply. So I actually know a lot of people in the room, so you know how to find me on Twitter, Twitch, etc. And Lee is, how do you say your Twitter?
There's a talk show, but
I always fuck it up.
it's all good. You know, I look it up as well.
Adam is. Spinning Ghost on Twitter, but Adam Koebel on Twitch. Please feel free to live tweet. I'm gonna swear a lot just to let you know because my filter's gone. You know, and just keep in mind that we may discuss things that are upsetting, possibly triggering for people as we talk about things that happen to us either on stream or etc. So if you need self-care and walk out, feel free. I will not hold it against you, none of us will. Because I've had some total shit said to me on stream. So, actually, when we did this PAX East, Adam had a really good point about it, is that we're human, and this is something we should be able to do and not feel like you need to be safe. So, do you want to re-elaborate on that?
Yeah, so we've got kind of like a shitty BuzzFeed thing going on with this panel in that the core premise of the panel is like how to do a thing that's impossible. You can't. I'm sorry. Like, if you came here hoping to leave and be like, I will have a toolkit that will make broadcasting on the internet 100% safe for me, you will go home disappointed. We can give you some tools to make it more safe, but fundamentally, because the online world is a reflection of a bunch of other much larger socio-cultural things, we're not going to be able to fix it with a panel. But we can share our experiences, we can talk about some things that we have done to make it safer, but being perfectly safe is impossible. This is just the fact of these things.
Sadly, it is true. You know, some of the things that happen are slurs, etc. And despite that, I still stay on Twitch. And then you're mostly on YouTube.
Mostly on YouTube, because I failed to mention as part of my introduction is I am also a DM for a series called Bullshitters of Avalon.
Hey!
And because we are a pretty diverse crew of people in the Philippines, both in various sort of identifiers of LGBTQIA, more often than not we can get some sort of attention that's not necessarily nice or basically, yeah, a lot of negative attention can fall over that perspective. We're still relatively small, we're not exactly bigly popular, but even then, and you know, a lot of people try to justify that, oh, it's because you're popular, you are basically a walking magnet for all this hate and attention. No, it still happens to the small ones, and that's how a lot of people like me, you know, non-binary folks or any sort of minority trying to make it out on YouTube or Twitch get so discouraged early on.
So let's talk about some of the tips and tools. You know, for me, I have moderators, I have human mods, bots. I listed some of the bots in there. On-bot requires a little more work. Actually, it is a separate program that has to be running while you're streaming. So keep that in mind. The rest are cloud-based, where it's just there, and you get a URL, plug it in your streaming software, and it kind of moderates for you. And then human mods. So I'm going to turn over to Adam in a second. If you have a different take on moderating me, I've not a lot of mods because, well, people suck. And I've been called all sorts of interesting things when playing games on Twitch. And so the bot mod is not always the best at it. or it may catch things that aren't really slur, but because someone was invented, it goes slip by. So it can go both ways. So a human is always good to have. And then Adam, you have a whole different take on you don't mod much, you just moderates.
Yeah, so for me, and this is a direct outcome of my politics. In a lot of channels, if you visit any given channel on Twitch, regardless of the kind of content that they create, they will have a set of rules, which is to say behaviors that are and are not allowed, and the violation of those rules can result in being timed out or banned. And the mods act as enforcers for those rules. They're essentially cops for the channel. Their job is punitive. In my channel, I don't want cops. I don't like them. They have no place in my community, literal or metaphorical. So what I've done is I make people in my community moderators who have a voice that I think needs boosting, people who have the same kinds of ideas about the way the community should be run and how it should work, and I give them the ability to manage the conversation, but I explicitly tell them this isn't just about punishing people. Their job, in so much as it is one, is to engage people in a conversation about the things that they're saying. I have automated tools that run in my channel that get rid of spam, but that's not the kind of abusive stuff that we're talking about. That happens to everyone. Spam bots don't discriminate. You can use mechanical tools to get rid of those, but for me, what's more valuable is engaging someone who comes into the channel and says something obnoxious, saying to them, like, why are you like this? Why are you saying this? What are you trying to communicate? Why are you doing this? Like, what is this about? Engaging with people, because, and it's anecdotal, but I've had a lot of people who are members of the community who are just ignorant when they came to it. They didn't understand why using gendered insults is a shitty thing to do. They didn't understand why the things they were saying were homophobic or racist. And I think that what will ultimately make the space safer is educating people. We can banhammer someone into oblivion, but that's just making them someone else's problem. I recognize that I have a ton of privilege. I'm much safer on the internet than, say, women or people of color. And then my queerness can often be ignored or reduced because of those things. So it's easier for me to create a community in which engagement is important. I want to be, and I think the way I described it before is I want to be the flypaper for these shitty people who can be reformed. If they get turned away from the channel of someone who doesn't have the emotional energy to withstand their being shitty, give them to me. I will try to engage them in conversation. But I recognize that again, this is very much a position of privilege, and that I'm saying this because it's safer for me to do it. But I also think that it's worth looking at the way that a bunch of different people do this differently, because you're going to want to find what works for you, if this is something that you're interested in doing. So, very, very different approach from most streamers, but not necessarily better. It really depends on what you want to do to keep yourself safe.
And would you say part of that is because of your large presence on Twitch and also the open, that you have to demand that respect as well?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think that's an interesting thing because it works both ways. I think that the bigger a broadcaster is, the more impervious people think that they are to criticism and shitty behavior, right? Where they're like, well, Adam doesn't care. He's got 1,000 people in his chat right now. I'm just one person being shitty. I'm not going to change my behavior. But I definitely think there is cachet, right? That comes from having a larger audience. People will tend to listen. And not just at an audience level, but Twitch will listen more. People will look at their audience. So if I have a problem, I feel much less worried that if I go to Twitch and say, I'm having a problem, they're going to listen. Because I represent a larger portion of their revenue.
The money is complete.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's a totally real.
So since you're more YouTube, because YouTube comments are a whole special level of hell. They are. So what do you do with that? Because you're not broadcasting as you're playing really, but people can watch post-play and still comment on YouTube stuff. So how do you moderate your comments? Do you things turn them entirely off?
I wouldn't be a big fan of seeing comments entirely, because sort of like Adam was sort of first to sort of addressing it But just personally, we've been lucky that a lot of the Vultures videos so far have been, say, civil. But on the off cases, there are occasionally some pretty off comments that I personally just, it's sort of, the amount of comments we do on our videos is sort of small enough that it's manageable, so that when we do occasionally get that hurtful comment, I usually have the time and energy to deal with it then and there. And either, again, sort of on a whim in a way, sort of whether I want to address the person, whether they're being wrong or, you know, unintentionally misgendering someone or intentionally being rude. Or on the off case when I can, sort of a small control thing, that they're deliberately trying to rile you up or cause some sort of scene in the comments, I put a stop to it and there, because more often than not, I don't have that energy to deal with it. And if anything, one of our other players is actually in charge of taking care of the channel, so between us, we don't really have time to engage what could potentially control or someone just trying to cause havoc early. And so, yeah.
And these are just screenshots, so the other feature, and it's not a new feature anymore, that is something called automods. Let's say you're smaller, you're starting, or you don't know anyone that you want to reach out to and ask them to be a moderator. You can set levels of sensitivity, or, you know, if it's really tight sensitivity, if someone says anything and you can swear, it will time them out / ban them, up to the least sense, a lot of moderation. I'm sorry, it's 1 to 4, not 4 to 1. So basically, you pick what you're comfortable with, especially if you're streaming at a time when you're going to get a lot more traffic and a lot more people, and, you know, depending on what you're streaming. There's so many factors that go to someone finding your channel, because there's communities now, there, you can search by game, I mean, you can search by country or whatever, but you never know what brings someone to your channel or someone else hosts you. One thing that they finally added that is not just for partners, is follower only. So you can say, if you're not a follower, you can't speak in my channel, and then you also have to follow for X amount of time. So if you're someone who does get a lot of random people in your channel, bots or what have you, you can set this, say, like, maybe you have to follow for just 5 minutes. So if someone's intent control, they'll get bored, hopefully, and leave. I've not used this. Mostly I'm that asshole that will ban someone in about 2 seconds if I don't have the energy to deal with them. But you said you were not really big on following that.
I think it depends. It's a useful tool for a certain circumstance, but if you're trying to build an audience, forcing someone to follow the channel and then be on a delay before they can commit, it exacerbates the problem that everyone who visits a Twitch channel for the first time, just wandering in, they will wander right back out. Usually they want to engage the conversation. The discussion around what's going on is almost as important as what's happening on screen. And if you prevent people from engaging in that, yeah, you're gonna catch the people who are just there to cause trouble, but you're also going to get a lot of false positives on that. People who don't want to wait 10 minutes to be able to say, hi, how's it going? First time in the channel, right? You're alienating those people. So it's tricky. It's one of those things you have to kind of look at the purposes for your channel and what you're trying to do with it, and whether it's going to fit for you.
And there is real-time chat if you were streaming on YouTube.
Yeah, there is. One of the first times in the beginning we did try to stream a couple of sessions before, but one thing or another, future tech in Australia and trying to be the way it is, we didn't find it that feasible. So we're essentially streaming a Skype call between 2 people. So that was a propeller bandwidth slows. So unfortunately never even got to the point of trying to manage any of our viewers through Twitch. We were using Twitch. But yeah, it's never really like this.
Rules. So I have rules on my channel, again, because I've been called every name, I've been called, sometimes I'm just in a shitty mood and I just don't want to deal with it. And not a shitty mood enough not to stream, but enough where I just don't want to deal with anyone's bullshit. So this is a screenshot from my channel. These are the rules, and now Twitch actually has the option to say someone must agree to your rules before they can speak on the channel. They can speak instantly, they just have to go, yes, I have it. And sometimes people agree to it, they're still assholes. That's what it is. But everyone's different. You don't have rules at all, correct?
Yeah, I mean, my channel has an alignment, which is a general kind of these are the things that I value in a community, and if you want to be a part of this community, these things should resonate with you as well. but they are not strict, like, do this, don't do this kind of stuff. It's like, these are the kind of things we value, and stick around if this sounds right to you.
Yeah, then do you have any kind of, like, certain comments we deleted or anything for the YouTube channel?
The main thing is I sort of just always consider is with streamers, a lot of them sort of things that affect you in that day and however, but I sort of have to also consider that it's not just me or my channel, it's a channel shared by 6 other people who have their own lives and have their own issues to deal with. So I try to at least really cut out the most amount of negativity when it comes to any interaction or people or stories in that case, or even their live, their internet presence as it were. So more often than not, it's pretty much the moment someone shows some side of an asshole because I may have the energy and withdrawal to talk to them and sit them down and discuss why something was bad or try to get them to chill out. But those I share on the stream with those my players may not. So.
What I think is super important to remember in this situation is that as broadcasters with an audience that you'd like to build into a community, you're responsible not only for taking care of yourself, obviously that's first and foremost, but for creating an environment where the people that are visiting your channel and people that are in chat are taking care of each other as well. It's not just about you. It certainly is in a big way, but for me, I create the space that I have. I create this community that I have because I want people to feel comfortable in it, regardless of whether I'm participating or not. A lot of the kind of stuff that goes on in my community happens not just when I'm streaming, but on my Discord server. There are conversations that happen there all the time, and they operate under the exact same principles as Twitch chat, because what we're doing is setting an example for a community. So by choosing to automod or to have moderators and give them rules to enforce, you're saying not only I need you to take care of me so I can do my job, but saying to people, this is what we expect of one another. This is how things go around here. And I think that is maybe the most important kind of takeaway from engaging in a community, in that if you can create a small piece of the larger Twitch chat or the larger YouTube comment base that behaves in a way that resonates with your ethical stances in the world, you can change the larger whole, because those people are going to take something away from the community that you've made into the other spaces that they exist in. They're going to change their behavior elsewhere because you've created a space for it here. So it's a big deal to think about the way that you want to create that community, not just for yourself, but for the people that engage in it. And how you're going to do that, I think, is really a lot of thought.
You have promoted and my AdWords list.
Yeah, well, I was going to be random. My name was on the list of the words in your channel.
Well, because of the elder evil Adam. So, we were in PAX East, and because Adam related to the evilness for the games, that was in my chat, because I would get a lot of people that would come in the chat and try to invoke his name for some reason. Ooh, that's supposed to scare me. So I just put enough of it in the chat so they did start it, and then I was like, wait. After I would start following you and other people, let me just take it out of it. So I did that. But these are the things that I have to put in my chat to stay safe. I get people to think it's cute to send Black Streamer Harambe and Gorilla gifts and emotes. They called all versions and variants of the N-word, especially when streaming things like Mafia 3 and Watch Dogs 2. So it's just something where you can share it with your friends. You will have to maybe do variants on it, because people can get real creative. Because I don't know if it's a Boolean search or however Twitch figures out what to let pass, what doesn't, but people will get real creative when they want to call it.
Yeah, Twitch has a universal ban list that you can subscribe to or not. I personally don't, because I think sometimes using those words is useful in a conversation about them. I think they can have context. Even violent language has a purpose sometimes if you're discussing it. But you can add on to that or create your own sublist. And I think that what's most important about not just a banned word list, but about a lot of this stuff, like the emotes that you choose if you become a partner. Everything about this is controlling the conversation that takes place in your community. If an emote, for example, is used universally negatively, you can retire it. There are emotes that Twitch should probably get rid of because they're all used in a negative context. But that's just kind of how it goes. We don't get to influence them, but we can choose how the conversation goes in our community spaces. And so thinking about what do I want people to be talking about is what's going to inform you in building this kind of list.
Yeah, and there's nothing similar for YouTube, correct? Alright, so, I want to talk about kind of what's new both on stream and post stream, we can have an open discussion. So, what if you're harassed? Because one thing that puts a lot of people I know off of even trying to stream is, what if I'm on camera or not on camera, where someone comes on my channel and starts saying these things to me? What do I do at that point? Because sometimes it can tank your stream, because if it gets to you and you're on camera and your viewers will see it, or even if you're just speaking, but sometimes when I'm only on console, I don't have camera on. But you can tell that something else changes, if something's getting to them. So, report it to Twitch, and Twitch actually doesn't tell you what happens. Just accept the reports. So it's kind of like Twitter, where they don't really tell you anything, but you can't report it. You can ban it from your channel, obviously. The hard part with that is anyone can make a Twitch channel. So if you don't have, depending on how you're moderating your channel, they can just instantly make another account and come right back in your channel. So that's something to think about. And the last point only has been relevant to me for a couple people where they become a serial harasser, like they fixate on you, and they fixate on someone, and they go, but you follow these people, you host these people, so I'm going to go bother them as well. So if they become a community problem, tell other streamers. Maybe don't make a big Twitter thing about it, but they're back channels or Discord.
Yeah, I know plenty of people that I've played role-playing games with who have had experience with problematic people in chat who will follow them from their own channel to like shared streams. And it's as easy as just being like, look, if you see this person's username around, can you like get rid, can you just ban them? They've been shitty to me in the past, and if the people you are talking to are not garbage human beings, then they will be like, okay, cool, yeah, cut this guy, he's out. But sharing that information is important, right? That's how we build a sense of safety in the community of broadcasters. We can talk about the problems that we've had and normalize the experience of sharing that information and not feeling like ashamed or embarrassed or upset if somebody is harassing you. It's their fault, not yours. And being able to talk about that with other streamers who shared that experience, I think is really helpful.
Yeah, and not talking about it doesn't serve any purpose. It just lets them get away with shit behavior. So, like I said, it doesn't always serve the community to make a big Twitter thing out of it because then everyone and their mother jumps into it. But, there are channels to inform other streamers. The other part of it is, I don't know, swatting or doxing is an issue here, but there was a recent case where someone was swatted, and it's something that can happen. So basically swatting is when someone calls police and pretends that you're in danger, or you are in danger, so the police will show up. I don't know how it works here, but they will come in, usually knock. They'll just kind of break down your door, and you could very well wind up dead. And some people do it because they're horrible, evil people, and want this for entertainment, because they don't think it would be out for real. And doxing, basically, they find your personal info and spread it around the internet. So I have a couple resources. I think they're international. If they're not, let me know, and I can help you try to find some more local resources. But again, think about where your information is on the internet. And I'm not going to read that to you or at you. And so this is relevant too for you, Lee, because sometimes it carries past the stream. People, again, if they get fixated or they decide that you are their special friend that day or that week or that month, they could follow you, try to creep on your Twitter or whatever public channels you have out there and see kind of what you're doing and then take it outside of Twitch. And this is one thing where not having moderation would actually be good, because sometimes your moderators will only keep it update. And if they ban someone, that text is gone. So if they do it too quickly, you can't get a screenshot to ban someone or something. You can change the settings so that people who follow you follow consecutive users, which basically Twitter, like Twitter DMs. Screenshot the use again to tell other streamers. And the important thing, and I don't know police relations here, please tell me if I'm wrong on this, but in the US, a lot of police don't understand the cyber issues, they don't understand internet issues. When I go to someone and say they're harassing me on Twitch or Twitter, they're just going to look at you and go,
yeah, this is the hardest advice to give too, because I am very firmly in the camp that we do not talk to the police about shit, because we can't trust them. But if it escalates and you didn't immediately go to them, they're going to be even shittier to you. Be like, why didn't you report this 6 weeks ago? So again, depending on your comfort level and the ways of interaction that you feel comfortable with entities like the police, this may or may not be an option for you. Hopefully it never gets to a point where you feel like you need to engage them that way, but if it does, you'll have to assess based on where you sit in the world.
Yeah, for me, it's just like, I'll just take care of it myself. I'm black, I'm not calling the cops. Look, too many hashtags, y'all, too many hashtags. But in terms of, like, when something moves beyond, like, the broadcast, have you ever had, hopefully you've never had an experience where someone, like, takes it beyond a nasty
There have been instances, because of our presence was primarily from Tumblr at the beginning of our entire run, some of them sort of found the Tumblrs, and so far, some of the anons have been pretty neutral, I guess, sum it up, but I have gotten some weirder comments that I really shared at large because it just wasn't something I really wanted to repeat. But I knew it happened, and I didn't want to particularly address it at the time. And this sort of goes against what I want to do now. Because we were just starting out, I wasn't entirely sure what to do at that point. So I sort of just let it fly under the radar because, I mean, Anon and Tumblr, you can't really, trace the person or anything like that. I just knew there was a person out there who watched their stuff and wanted to say a couple of things to be online. So I would pretty much just did that particular ask, which was in hindsight 2020 day, which I hadn't done that, and sort of tried to address it in future sessions. But yeah, apart from that, I think it's still there. Some of the kind of contacts in Tumblr, but it's not as sort of insidious now.
People resources to grow your personal data, and this is just an overall safety thing because you never know where your personal data is going to wind up. For instance, I was on Spokio and I found all of my past addresses, a lot of personal info that really should not be out there. Crash override, by Zoe Quinn, you can actually walk through kind of how to clean up your info. And that's, again, it's just a good practice of not being too visible on the internet in general. And then the account killer may or may not be available here. I found it a week or so before I did this kind of hacks. And that's the way to really get rid of a lot of those internet accounts that people don't have a way to go into your Twitter, your Facebook, because it's notorious that you can't do your Facebook account if you decide to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing to do is just like, don't tell the internet where you fucking live. Don't do that. Don't tweet your phone number. I mean, I think we're of an age now, we're of a generation that understands these things, right? Like, we know not to do these kinds of things, but yeah, like, I don't know, again, because I'm not from America either, I'm from Canada, and as a lot of these tools don't apply to me, but also information privacy where I'm from is taken somewhat more seriously than in America. So your mileage may vary in terms of whether these tools are useful or helpful to you, but it's worth a look.
Yeah. Okay, questions? And actual questions, if you have comments and we run short, if we have plenty of time, then I'll start taking comments, so please let me know if you have questions.
I love what a question card asks you.
I've been to too many panels where someone tells their life story and it's like, oh, we have 2 minutes for questions, and no one gets to actually ask anything. So I've been to too many cons where that's happened.
Yeah, I mean, the assumption here is that, like, you're in this audience because you're either interested in engaging in this space as a viewer and are, like, looking at what it might be like, or you want to start or are already, like, broadcasting yourself. So if you have questions about any of that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, you and then
so I do a lot of RPG live stream stuff, and something that's come up more recently in that sort of space is that often we're kind of clashing between the more educated and newer fans and like in terms of more educated and social issues and stuff like that, and like the older fans. One big thing that happened on one podcast that I followed recently was that they put a trigger warning on one of their recordings, and like a bunch of the old fans complained about that. So
I'm about to ask you where your question
is my question. How can we help educate those newer fans, the older fans, and things like that, and how can we help engage them to adopt the new behaviors that we're trying to encourage?
In my experience, banning people and timing them out and stuff, you know, it can help, but it's not going to change their mind, right? Like if someone comes in and they start making, this is a big thing for my channel, like I take trigger warnings very seriously. I recently did a playthrough of Chrono Trigger. You can guess where all the jokes came from. So all these people in the chat were like, hey, Chrono Trigger, and I was like, shut the fuck up. But stopping to address that stuff is what changes it, right? If I had just banned them, they would go find some other channel to harass. So I'm like, no, we're closing the door, you're here now. Sit the fuck down, we're having a conversation. Oh no, I'm not gonna finish this fight. Look, I'm losing the game. I don't even care about that anymore. You. So, you know, for me, it's about engaging in the conversation and not, they're there for a knee-jerk response all the time. And I know the kind of game you're talking about, the people who are, they have this idea of how games should be, and if you act differently from that, they get upset about it, and they're like, they're having an identity crisis about it. And I think you can just train the people who are already comfortable with these things to work with you to do that, so that I can continue to play Chrono Trigger, and my mods and the people that are on my channel can be like, you sound like an asshole. Let's deconstruct that conversation you're trying to have with yourself. It's about training the people in your community to share some of that like labor with you, so you don't have to pause your game and like deal with it. Some people don't want to learn, right? We can cure ignorance, but you gotta want to be cured. You have to want to listen and like care about it. But having the conversation will put the thought in their head that maybe they're wrong, whereas often banning them or timing them out will reassure them. They'll be like, you so-justice warrior, pushing me around, censoring me. I'm gonna go over here where people will listen to my garbage. Instead of being like, oh, I never thought about how like some people are triggered by things, and like I never thought of it that way, and I've only ever seen it in this really like flippant context. You can re-educate them through being patient and doing emotional labor for other people, and it's hard and it's work, and you don't have to do it, but you can if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, well, and you know, because Adam, again, it's reiterated how much privilege he has in doing this. Sometimes for me, when people want to do that stuff, if they want to have a conversation, I will have that conversation, but the emotional labor cost is much higher for me as a visible female person of color, as a queer person. And also, I'm not sure what you mean in terms of older fans.
I mean, you're talking about like old school D&D fans who are like not about anything new and just have a certain idea of how the game is supposed to be. Yeah.
So you're not meaning middle age.
No, like rock nerds.
Yeah,
They're old.
Oh, that's great. So I'm like, where are we going with this?
No, yeah.
That's fine. No, I mean, I just reiterate it, but, you know, keep in mind, too, that, you know, you are white appearing, so sadly, people may listen to you more than they'll listen to, like, me or Lee. So moderate your community, and not moderate, manage the community to self-engage is a good way, I think.
I'm gonna throw a D&D analogy at you. So, as white people, we have advantage on our charisma rolls to convince people. And as white people, we do not immediately suffer a level of exhaustion when doing so. So it's our responsibility as members of the party of inclusiveness to use our skills to defeat these people. Dungeons and Dragons.
Solid.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I've just got to start streaming as well. I've got a bit of involved with whatever. So I haven't really encountered any of the negativity. So should I be putting up those offers and stuff now, or just sort of waiting for it then to see
It depends. You know, what kind of community are you trying to make?
I basically do quite a big thing now. So.
Imagine like the worst possible thing a person could say to you in your channel. Are you comfortable letting that happen? Or do you want to head it off at the pass and not have to have that experience?
I guess I sort of, I don't know, like I guess I wouldn't know how I would react when this happens.
Yeah. I think giving yourself room to not know is taking a risk, but also like you may find that you're more okay with it than you thought you would be.
Mostly I'll probably get around using the door once in a while. Like the fact that I always started throwing returns and stuff like that. But yeah, I sort of got to know what else I would expect.
It's hard because I do watch a couple Australian streamers, and you know, I don't see them getting some of the same things that I as an American Black person would get. So you know, are you on camera, are you not on camera? Are there things that people are going to see? And like trying to zoom in on them and be an asshole about it for us, you know, because you never know what's going to tip someone off in the day, have less control that day. So you could prepare kind of, I'm going to do all this stuff and have it at the ready and then see what happens. Because you could push away a growing community you don't have by over-preparing for harassment. Especially since you're just starting out, you know, case-by-case basis, you know, like I don't immediately ban every person that comes to my chat that does one asshole thing. I kind of want to see where it goes, and then you learn to tell the difference. And, you know, we'll just send them all to admin.
Well, I'm saying that's not going to be like to try to solve the game. Like, don't want to be playing, so it's like, yeah, I know, I already know.
Yeah, and so you're taking the wind out of the sails, like,
and I
it's
think
really...
they just don't get out of my phone.
But that's what people do. People do that all the time. They come in and I mean, for me, it's just like a lot of times I'm playing the game brand new. I haven't played it other times. Or I get people that want to backseat lore, like lore, rules lawyer me about stuff, and I'm like, you realize I've played this game like 15 times. You're not telling me anything. Then they go away because they feel stupid. So I mean, it's up to you to manage your community how you want it to be, but it'll come in time. And like, as people engage with you, you'll know what's the best level of moderation.
You're going around and removing a lot of your accounts and things to make yourself have less of a presence online. How do you maintain enough of a presence you want to maintain?
Well, when I have that stuff, I mean more your very personal information. So like, people can't find your home address, your social security number, other identifying info. A lot of people use Twitter just for like their Twitch presence. So they can say, I'm going live this time, here's my schedule. It all depends, because don't think of it as a fan base to start, because I think that's where, I mean, I've seen a lot of people kind of go wrong that way. They start like, I want a fan base. No, think of it as a community, because these are people that you want to come back and engage with you and enjoy what you're doing, be it role-playing, development, whatever you're going to stream, because it isn't strictly gameplay anymore. It's not just, I'm going to play the newest Dark Souls or whatever. It's people are doing RPG stuff, they're doing game development, they're doing creative streams. So think about it as you want to build a community, and you control the avenues in which people can contact you. Have maybe an email address that is just for your streaming, and that's the one that's publicly available, but you still filter it. You know, have a Twitter that's just for your stream channel. And if you are on Twitter or other places, make a presence that is public as you feel comfortable. Because, you know, my streaming came after other things, so I'm a weird case, kind of manage it a lot differently because I was already known in a certain way, and I didn't want the streaming to be part of like another avenue for harassment. But again, I have a different one. Do you have thoughts?
I mean, yeah, like Twitter is, I feel like, kind of a given. Like, if you want to engage with people outside of your stream, Twitter is a great tool for that. Everything else is optional. I don't use Facebook anymore. It's, you know, like, you'll pick the things where your audience are, right? Like, if you've got a bunch of people who want to follow you on Twitter, make a Twitter account. I think this runs deeper than just, you know, having a Twitter account for your stream and having one for yourself, in that a lot of the advice you're going to get as a new streamer is going to revolve around, like, being yourself and, like, being authentic. And you can find where that feels safe, right? Because part of what we do as broadcasters is sell intimacy, right? We sell a portion of ourselves and access to that portion in a way that helps people emotionally resonate with us and want to stick around and be a part of the things that we're doing. But learning where that line is, where like the you that you're putting out there versus the you that you feel you actually are and you're safe. Like for me, again, like Tanya mentioned, like I've got a shit ton of privilege. My +1 backpack is full of it. So the version of me that is on Twitch and the version of me that is like me when I'm not on the internet are very close in parity. But that's not safe for everybody. And I don't sit down and like think hard about how much you want to put yourself out there and then let your social media stuff reflect that. But don't tell the internet where you live.
Do not do that, yes.
This is mostly kind of with how you make your people sense direction with how you sort of have a conversation.
Actually, you're going to get a mic because you're very aware.
Everybody's sticking around in their chairs.
With how you try to have a conversation with people about what they're saying and you try to have your community involved in
talking to these people up to say. How do you deal with or have you encountered the issue of community members who get too over-enthusiastic with people who are maybe saying something that might be offensive or inappropriate? How do you or your community go about dealing with people who then get sort of almost sort of they sort of jump to the same level almost as the people who are trying to antagonize?
For me, it's socially de-incentivizing any kind of like fanatical behavior, right? Like we don't give people cookies for jumping on someone who's being problematic, because that can create its own antisocial stuff. I try to create an environment where meaningful discourse is par for the course. And for me, the big angle on that is encouraging listening. I tell people all the time, constantly, it's one of the rules of engagement for my community, where we value listening above speaking. Right? So for me, if you ask someone a question, you're asking so that you can hear the answer, not so that everyone else can hear you asking it. We don't reward people for being like, yeah, good job, like engaging that troll. We're more likely to engage the person for saying like, I'm sorry I was being homophobic, I didn't realize it. Like that person, we try to enforce their behavior. We be like, good job, like way to not be a dirtbag, you've learned something, you're welcome to come back and keep learning things. But I think also you gotta like meet people where they're at, right? Like I have members of my community that other members of the community don't like. My moms don't all get along. Some of them are kind of obnoxious sometimes, but like everybody is. Like treating people like humans and being like, yeah, cool, you fucked up by being hyper-aggressive with chat today, but like, that's okay, because you know that you screwed up. We're gonna have a conversation about it. We're all accountable to each other. Creating that space, I think, is so hard, but that's what I do to try to manage that stuff. Is just like all of the community guidelines, all of the things we try to do apply to everybody, no matter what we're talking about.
Okay, you and then that'll be it. Yes.
Okay. I have always stayed away from streaming because I'm a queer person of color, and I will usually stay away from that. But then I started streaming last week, and I have a Twitch channel, I haven't advertised or anything like that, and I still have this immense fear of having to go through all of this. How much of myself am I going to, should I put out there, should I not put out there? Because right now I'm not video streaming anything, you can hear my voice and things like that, but how much do you put out there, how much do you get back for putting it out there? What's the pros and cons of doing that?
First I'm going to say I'm going to be that asshole, say a lot of it's personal. But like for me, so when I'm shooting from the console, a lot of times I don't have a camera on, mostly just because I'm lazy. But with PC, when I do shoot from PC, I usually have a camera on, and it all depends on what I'm playing, because I've got regular people who come to my channel now. If you set a schedule, start getting the community together, it's all what's relevant for you. And, like you don't have to broadcast that you're LGBT or a person of color, but kind of be aware that if you do, if you do decide to go on camera, for instance, you're going to get an asshole, but you're in control. Remember that always. Like this is your community. You're the ones in control, and just make that decision. Do you have the emotional currency to deal with that asshole today? Or you just go, you know what, not today, either have a mod or an auto-mod, or time them out, because sometimes people just want to push boundaries. Sometimes you time them out and they come back, they're like, oh, I was just joking. I'm like, you don't know me like that, I've never seen you on the channel. And sometimes people just get a little too familiar when you're online and you mention kind of scene and things like that. Like for me, if the game I'm playing has LGBT games or LGBT romance, I will talk about that as I'm playing because it is relevant to what I'm streaming. I do, like in my Twitter profile, I've got out bisexual because it's who I am, I'm not ashamed of it. And if it's relevant to the conversation, or if it comes up, or just like a regular pops in, and they're like, oh, did you see this article? And we talk about this stuff, and I can actually, one, play and have a conversation at the same time, depending on what I'm playing. We can have that conversation. I try to still make people feel safe to come in and talk about whatever it is, especially if they're regulars, and whether it's relevant or not. And even if they're not a regular, maybe someone's just having a shitty day and they're like, you're streaming a game I really love and I just want to hang out on your channel. And as you build that community, you're gonna see, like, you know, is it relevant? Because we both know you share a gay name. And, you know, and you're gonna laugh at me again, because I did not know he was queer. And
He was so gay, like just so fucking gay. I don't know how you didn't know that.
I'm old, my gay are grown. But you know, like, but
And he doesn't see gayness.
are you gonna say no see color guys?
I'm not fucking that now.
But see, but here's the report. We can do that, and I know that he's just fucking with me. But you know, eventually we'll get to that with your community. But like for Brandon, it's not part and parcel of his stream presence. It on occasion comes up to he'll get harassers because he's partnered, he gets a lot more airtime and things like that. So it's as you grow, see where your comfort level is, because the main thing to take away is that you're in control. It's your community that you're building, and you make the call if you want to do that. Is it relevant to what you're streaming? Like you play an Atoma game that has LGBT romance or something. You go, hey, as a queer person, it's really great to see this content, and you know, carry on with your stream. You don't have to belabor the point. It's like in real life, I doubt you go up to people like, hey, you're queer. How are you?
Are we not supposed to do that?
Sorry, Adam, rules have changed.
I think I don't want to be a downer, but I think the thing I get harassed every fucking day. Every day. I get harassed on Twitter, I get shitty emails, I get harassed on stream, I get harassed on YouTube. It is a constant barrage of bullshit all the fucking time. I care more about doing the work than I do about the bullshit. I can put that aside to make this community and to like work on making the internet a better place. Because for me, it's that or die. The fear never goes away. You know, whether you get okay with dealing with bullshit or not, that'll be on you. But feeling that fear that like today might be the day the internet ruins my life forever, that won't ever go away. But that's good. The fear is what keeps us safe. That's what keeps us from doing stupid things on the internet, from getting too personal, from putting ourselves out there in a way that is dangerous for us. So don't look at it as trying to make that, like, I'm afraid it's going to go badly, feeling go away. Learn to live with that feeling, listen to it, trust it, but, like, make decisions for you. Don't make decisions with the fear.
And I'll give you my contact info, you can talk to her as well. Because, you know, well, Adam is queer, he's also a white dude that has a lot of privilege, so.
Yep.
And then you had a question, and that'll be it. Then we go to closing ceremonies, and we're done.
Okay, my question was just how, say you've been streaming for a bit and you have some abuse coming your way, and say it's been a bad day, it's really getting to you. How do you disengage from the stream once you're finished, and how do you sort of like
For me, I literally leave the house. Because I also work for myself and work at home, so being in that environment, so the TV's right there, so it's going to remind me of the shitty stream I just had, the experience I had. So for me, I get out of the house, I go do other things, give myself an hour or two away from the keyboard, and just kind of try to get away from it. Or I play a game just for me. I don't think about streaming, I disconnect all of my equipment, and say, you know what? These 2 hours of Dragon Age are just for me, fuck everybody else. Because this is my happy place. So, like for you, what happens with the YouTube stuff?
It is also a question of self-care. If you are so affected by it that the moment you turn off everything related to your streaming and recording or editing, and it doesn't do that much, it is self-care. Step away from it. Do something else. Even if anything, literally going from, say, if you're streaming PC, or something like what Tanya does, house, just please, goodbye. Yeah, you know, and just do things that would make you feel a little less wrapped up in tense or whatever. For a lot of us, it's a little bit hard to disengage with things that are close, near and close to our hearts, our identity, our sexuality. It's sometimes it's hard to just brush that off. So do your best to sort of, you know, I guess regrow that skin of your road time, that shitty environment, and then, you know, do your best to get back into in a better headspace.
Crying helps. For me, a big part of my like coping mechanism is like a deep-seated sense of nihilism that nothing anyone says matters. So why would some shitty internet be mean to me matter? That I will die eventually, and anything is gonna affect me anymore. But The thing that helps when recognizing that eventually I'll be a corpse doesn't is that all the time and energy that I put into the community, I can go to them and be like, hey everybody, here's a screenshot of something some asshole sent me on Twitter, and people be like, that sucks, this person's terrible. I'm like, yeah, they're jerks. Because again, it's not a purely externalizing operation. The emotional energy that I put into my community, I can get back. It's a garden that I have seeded with good vibes, and it continues to bear fruit. And when things feel bad for me, there's a network of solidarity there. Solidarity is hugely important to me, and that's what I think communities are built on. And so when I'm having a hard time, I can go to them, and they're there with me.
And now that we've been in Europe, it's time when we are done. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for hanging out at the very last panel of the day. I know we're all tired, especially me with jet lag. So go to closing ceremonies. Say thanks to Liam and Joshua, and take a button with you or bag.